Hi everybody, I'm doing some experimenting today. I watched Kathy Arbor on a YouTube live the other day, and she was doing this technique in creating a journal cover on a large piece of watercolor paper, and I really loved the way it turned out. I'm going to try it on a much smaller scale and see what happens. I'm just in my, this is my napkin journal, but it was just the right size, so it's not a napkin project, but it's my journal, so I can do whatever I want, right? Anyway, so you first start by layering stencils. I'm going to try and get a base layer down, and she did this primarily, the first layers anyway, with sprays. So I have, let's see, 3 Dylusions sprays, ink sprays. This is Vibrant Turquoise, Sweetened Orange, and Fresh Lime. And then I have a Distress Spray Stain in Faded Jeans. And then I have 3 Glimmer Mist sprays. This one is Rose Gold. This light blue is called True Turquoise, but it's really a baby blue. And then this Splash spray came from Tattered Angels. It was like a patina kit that had 2 or 3 different sprays in it, and I could never get the patina to really work the way I liked. So anyways, I'm just using this Splash. It's kind of a mid blue. So we'll see how these all work. I did test the bottles to see if they were all working sprayers, because you know how that goes. So I had this scrap paper. The other day I did a project and I used texture paste through a stencil, and there was a lot of the paste left on the stencil, so I just put the excess through the stencil onto a scrap piece of paper. So these are the colors that I just showed you. I tested all the sprayers onto top of this paper, and I think I like it. Since I'm not working on a 18 by 24 piece of watercolor paper like Kathy, I'm not worried about it not coming out or not liking it in the end. It's more just an experiment to see how this works on a smaller scale. So I'm just going to start spraying. I'll probably speed this up, and then I'll come back after I get the first layer done. Okay, this is the first layer. It's looking real watercolory. I really like it. And I just decided I better grab a piece of just regular cardstock and just dab the excess off. And I'm liking this too, so we may end up with a twofer. I'm going to dry these and then we can do the next layer. Okay, I've relayered. This stencil and this one are new. I mean, I didn't use them in the first layer. I did use those 2 in the first layer. And I'm just going to spray some more. The reason that this looks very dispersed and this is way more crisp is because I gessoed these papers. These pages have gesso, so the ink is spreading into the gesso underneath, where these, and this one's getting a little muddy, this one is, but these didn't have anything on them, just plain cardstock. But this is going to be great collage paper. Why waste it, right? So we need, what do I want there? Maybe do this one, get some more pattern going, and we'll put the circles down here. And I'm going to try to reestablish this one here a little bit more. Get the pattern a little more visible on there. I have to be careful where I put that orange so I don't get mud. I have some good some good collage paper towels too. I'm getting there. I'm kind of liking this. This one, puddles that I don't necessarily want. All right, I'm going to dry that again. Okay, I'm getting a really diffused look on this, so I'm going to do one more layer just to kind of fill in a little bit of the white gaps, and then when that's dry I'm going to put a coat of matte medium, and then I'm going to go again, and I think the matte medium will allow the image to crisp up some, I think. It won't hurt anything if it doesn't work, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to go a little bit more here. This green one is kind of squirting out two ways. This one might be about done. I'm going to have a big mess to clean up when I'm done, that's for sure. Okay, that didn't work so good. Darn it. Well, this will be okay. So, if you're going to do this, I didn't remember whether Kathy, actually I think I came into her stream where she was doing it. She did it on a live stream. I think I got there late, so I didn't see the beginning. My guess is she didn't gesso the watercolor paper. I don't hate it, but it's not what I was hoping to get, so fine. We're gonna go with it. I'm gonna get this one mopped up a little bit, and I'm gonna get a coat of, get this dry and put a coat of matte medium, just fluid matte medium on it, and then I'll be back. Okay, change your plans, because as I was drying this, it dawned on me, thankfully, that most of these sprays are going to remain water, movable. They're going to move if they get wet. So instead of using matte medium, which is just going to smear it when I brush it on, I'm going to do 2 coats of the Spectra Fix. It's usually used over pastels and chalk and colored pencil, graphite, but I think it will work over this. I'm going to give it one light coat and dry it and give it another light coat, and then we'll see what happens. It's all an experiment, right? Okay, 2 coats of Spectrafix, and I dried it in between. When I put the first coat on, I did notice it moving the inks a little bit. When I put the second coat on, I didn't. So now I'm going to try a coat of this regular fluid matte medium, and cross your fingers because I'm hoping it's not going to just smear it. And then it's still bringing the color up. So I'm still going to do it. I'm going to do it with a light touch. Try not to lose too much of the pattern that I do have, but I want more pattern to show, and right now that's just not happening anyways, so I'm hoping the matte medium will help with that on the next layer. So I'm going with a real light touch. You can see it's still moving the ink, so it is what it is. I'm getting a lot of ink in my brush. But it's a good, still a good base, I think. If, that's a big if, but if. Now when I layer the stencils back on, I'm hoping there's enough barrier that I'll get a crisper image. So I'm going to dry this real good and we'll see what happens. Okay, the matte medium is all dry. I did test it with water on a brush, and it doesn't seem like the inks are moving anymore. So I'm just going to go again and see if we get what we were hoping for, which was a little more definite patterning. That's good collage paper right there. That paper towel. I'm putting it aside to dry. This is the one we got when we rolled over the pages with the paper towel roll. Which I think I need to do over here. Now that that's had a little time to sit, that's better. Still not as much as I would like. So I'm going to put this one on just with the dark blue only. And maybe I'm just too close. I'm getting too much of an ink concentration. I don't know. Yeah, like that. Those kind of counterbalance each other. And I think I'm going to put the little circles over the bigger ones. I'm going to have one heck of a cleanup job to do when I'm done. Alright, let's dry this. Cleanup job on my hands too. You notice I took my rings off because I knew this was going to get ugly. Well, since we're experimenting, I did two things. Well, I did one thing so far. I dripped some water and lifted so it's lighter in just a few spots. Can you see that? Is it focused? And I like that. I just wanted to see if it would work, and it did. So now I have this letter and number stencil, and I want the letters and numbers on my page. So I have a piece just of deli paper underneath here. I probably should put another one because I'm going to want to put my book back over here. And that's got glue, but that's okay. Alright. Hang on. Alright. So what I'm going to do is, and this is going to be a crapshoot too because I have Distress Spray Stain in Picket Fence. This is the only one, you hear the mixing ball, this is the only opaque of the spray stains, the distress stains. So you want to shake it, mix it up really good so you have all the pigment. I'm going to spray the stencil, and then I'm going to, if I do that, it'll be backwards. I need to spray this side. Yes, backwards. I'm going to spray, hopefully. It's going everywhere. Get a fairly decent coating on here. Yeah, okay. Then I'm going to bring my book back in, and it's probably going to disperse out somewhat because it will sink into the other inks, but that's okay, right? We're just going to try this. Just try and see what we get. Hopefully we'll get some semblance of letters. Ready? Here we go. Oh yes, I like that. Alright, so backwards. I'm just going to mush this around in the spray that's left on here. I don't know if you can see. You can see a little bit. Just pick up some more of that ink on here. And my fingers are stuck to the paper. And I'll put it down. Yes. I don't know. I think it's going to be backwards. That's okay. No, that should be right. I'm confusing myself. Big surprise. Okay, not enough ink was left on there, so I guess I gotta spray it again. Kind of like the way it's just kind of melting and not super crisp. This time I like it the way that is. I don't know if we got enough down here to do anything. Not really. There's some over here. If I can get some just right there. A little bit. I don't even care if it's smeary like that. I like it. Okay. Man, what a mess. Alright. Get rid of this. I'm gonna clean off my hands. I'll be back. Alright, I dried that really well. I hit it with just a touch of the Glimmer mist, and it kind of blurred, like right here, it kind of blurred things out a little bit, and then I hit it with the sweetened orange in a couple spots, and I'm just gonna flick some orange maybe on, because I did want some orange in here, but I don't want it to really mix with those blues and give me mud. So just shake some on. And it'll dry lighter than it looks right now. I think that's enough. Just a hint here and there. I'm going to dry these. It'll take a couple minutes. Okay, I'm going to do a little stenciling on top of this. I'm just using a regular old black acrylic Deco Art crafting paint. Just a hint. I don't want it real prominent. I'll let it kind of fade out in spots. I'm not using a lot of paint on my sponge. It's a little heavier than I wanted right there. I'm going to do a little on this side, and then I have another stencil that I want to use. Just getting some different patterns and a little more contrast now with the black. And the acrylic's not really interfering too much with the ink, which is a good thing. Okay. And I have this cool one that it's got patterns and numbers and letters, and I'm just going to go kind of randomly here and see what I get. I'm not even sure what's what on here. Just hitting it really lightly with the sponge. Yeah, that's enough. I'm liking this, you guys. I was a little afraid for a while there that it was just going to be another failed day, but it's turning out okay. I just really wanted to see, like I said, I watched Kathy do her great big sheet of watercolor paper this way, and the paper is going to make a difference for sure. This, I don't know even what kind of paper is in this little journal. Closer to a cardstock. It's definitely not watercolor paper. So watercolor paper would take all the wet medium a lot better, would handle it a lot better. But this turned out okay. At least now I know, which is what I set out to find out, how different mediums were going to work with this layered technique and whether I was going to like it or not. So I don't like that. What do we need up there? Something a little more definite. And there, that's better. And a little something something right in here. I don't have a whole lot of paint in this sponge, so I think that's just enough. And I like it. So now, I mean, I can just use this as a background. I can call it done and call it a day and say, you know, those 2 pages are done. Or I can do some art on top of it, or whatever I want to do with it. So it was a fun experiment. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you'll try it. Just, you know, grab a piece of cardstock or watercolor paper, but do it in a journal or just on a piece of paper. And I can keep going on these now if I want to. There's lots more that can be done with that, or I can just tear this up and use it in collage. So yeah, it was fun. Inks, you could probably do the same thing with fluid acrylics and layer your stencils up and do that, or I could do more definite. I think Kathy did like fronds, palm fronds or fern leaves in a more definite pattern on top of the background that she created. So it's Kathy Arbor. I'll link, it was a live stream, but I think I can link the video link in the box below. So if you want to go and watch, you can always scrub through and get the gist and see what she was doing. But it was a big piece of watercolor paper that then she cut to specific dimensions to make a really cool journal cover. So definitely worth watching. But this was fun. I hope you had fun watching. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and share it out. Sharing is caring. Really helps my channel, and I really appreciate it when you do that. And in the meantime, subscribe and then go make some art. Bye.